What's going on, guys? Welcome to After Hours Episode 3. We're here at Logie's in Lubbock, Texas. Seen some pretty interesting people here. Hopefully we can get some good interviews, support some value, and change a life. Now we got to do the scoping. Help me scope. All right, Mimi. Do you mind helping me ask either one of these ladies? We're gonna tell them that it's a social experiment and see if they're interested in answering a couple questions.
Hey mamas, we're doing a social experiment. Would you guys mind doing an interview for us?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Really?
awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much.
All right.
Wait,
Cool.
we sit down?
No, you guys
No,
can
yeah,
sit down.
I can sit right next to y'all if you don't mind, or I can stand up. Doesn't matter.
Can we do it together?
Yeah. I'll be interview both of you guys. One second. They're not gonna be in order. I'm just gonna go off of how I feel.
These are good. These are good questions.
Awesome.
This is so funny because tonight before we came out, we literally were like talking about how we wish we were mic'd up and we wish we could go.
Oh yeah?
So we can interview people.
It's as if I came just for that. Y'all are about to be mic'd up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's do it. I'm gonna get the camera ready. All right, what's going on, guys? So I'm here with
Libby.
Libby,
Yeah. Reese.
Reese.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to meet you, ladies.
Thank you.
So the first question I would like to ask you guys, if the world stopped judging, who would you become?
I don't think I would become anything more or less than I already am. I already tried to move past that. I grew up in a really small town, and she did too. And I think we kind of learned to stop caring about what other people think about you. It does affect you, though. I think I'd probably just become... I think I like to worry about other people's opinions. I like to care about what other people think. So it doesn't bother me that I worry about judgment sometimes. I think everybody does.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself, since you feel like you're comfortable with who you are.
Okay.
Go ahead and tell us who you are.
I'm a very optimistic, kind person. I give a lot and I don't expect anything in return. I love everybody that I'm put around, even if they give me reasons not to. Very forgiving.
Wow.
And I think everybody's human and everybody deserves more than multiple chances to be the best version of themselves.
I love
So,
that. No,
yeah.
that's perfect. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So if the world stopped judging you, who would you become?
I think her and I are very similar in the way that we grew up in a small town. So you kind of by default have to kind of learn to be comfortable within yourself and to express that without caring about outside opinions. But I think I'd probably be a little bit bolder. I think I hold myself back in some ways, just like as a natural human response. Like other people's opinions, I'm always going to take into account. But again, I don't think I'd be that much different, just in the way that like I found that being authentically myself has attracted the people that I want to be in my life. And yeah.
Okay. What do you think holds you back? Like, if you could identify that, what would you say it would be?
What holds me back? I think just whenever you're a human and you're a girl especially, you kind of tend to overthink the opinions of others and maybe what they might think of you and how that could affect your own just like self-worth and sense of self. And I've kind of done that just like by default since I was younger. But as I've grown into myself and I've kind of just gained more knowledge of who I am and the world around me, I've become more confident in my own values and
I love that.
what matters to me. And so with that, I think those things kind of those things in terms of like what others think of me have kind of come to matter less to me. Yeah.
Okay. To kind of jump off of that, for the men watching, what can you tell about the woman mind on everything that you just explained?
What can I tell about the woman mind? I think by nature, women are kind of, what's the word? Just by default and by like, how do I explain this? I don't know. I think if you are a woman who is attracted to men, you kind of by default want to do whatever it takes to attract like the men that you're interested in.
Of course.
And and sometimes that involves changing yourself in certain ways, even if that's not who you are. And like that's kind of a vulnerable thing to admit, but I think more women than you think would kind of resonate with that. Just kind of being someone else in order to cater to whoever it is that you're attracted to.
Wow.
But in my own personal experience, I found that the more myself I am and the more authentic I am, that is when you kind of attract who is meant for you and what is meant for you, whether it's a man or etc. Like, you know what I mean?
I love that. No, I know exactly what you mean, more than you know. I want to ask you, have you ever attracted men in particular that kind of just not destroyed you, but were just very bad for you?
I asked her.
Ask her that? Okay.
Okay.
You don't have to get into specifics. I just want to know, have you had like your fair share of bad partners?
I think that because I am so optimistic and so kind and open-minded, I attract every single human being in a way, and same for her. She is such a beautiful soul, and you can just see it radiating off her all the time.
Radiating.
And I'm always
Glowing.
with her. So regardless of if it's just me or if I'm with her, I think that we both have dealt with a fair share of attracting people that maybe weren't the best for us, but we see the best in them.
Okay.
And I would say it was beneficial, if anything, because, we try our best to put our best foot forward and be a good person for them and help them and be a good friend for them. Or if it's more than that, then, learn from them and hopefully they learn from us. And that's all you can really ask for at the end of the day is just to learn and grow together or apart.
Of course.
And it really is. It shows you a lot about yourself and about the person in question that is bad for you. Because in the past, if I've ever been treated poorly by a person, whether it's behind my back or to my face, I've never done it back because I realize you never know what someone else is going through. And if anything, I feel for them because I know that I've acted upon emotions and I've acted upon personal situations and treated people due to other situations in my life that did not involve them, and that was wrong of me. And so if anything, it happens to every single one of us, and I'm happy that it happens because I learned so much from it. So
I love that. I love your optimism.
thank you.
She really does have optimism. So, ladies, what if I told y'all that every person that you've attracted was because of the reflection of inside of who you are? Kind of like life is a mirror. What's going on the inside is what you're going to attract. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So what's your opinion on that?
I agree.
I agree with that 100%. I feel like even from firsthand experience, the times in which I have been maybe more insecure within myself, I have attracted more insecure people because exactly like you just said, you are what you attract, and vice versa goes for the times in which I have been more confident and self-assured. I definitely attract that kind of person, and I don't know the science behind it or like an explanation, but
I know what you mean.
Genuinely, I have experienced that firsthand, so I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay. How about you, Lily, right? Libby.
Yes.
How about you, Libby?
I agree. I think it just proves the time of life that you are in. If I'm feeling insecure, then whenever I meet someone who is also feeling that way, then I'm also just as vulnerable, and it makes me feel better being around somebody that's in the same place that I'm in. And if I'm super in a really good place in life at that point and I attract someone who maybe isn't, they want someone to depend on. And if I'm in a good place in life and someone's also in a good place in life, they see we're matching each other's energy. It goes all ways.
Yeah.
Because I've been in a bad place and I've gone to good people. I've been in bad places and gone to bad people. It goes every single way. And I think that as humans, you're always going to have everybody in your life is not going to be the same point. And I think that's one of the best parts of it. I love hearing about what my friends are doing and how different it is from what I'm doing, and their opinion is so different from what I would think about something. And I think it's my favorite part about life, genuinely.
That's amazing.
Is,
I love that. I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you, ladies.
Okay, next question. Do you live more in your past, your present, or your future?
I think there was a period in my life where I lived more in the past just because I felt that I think as humans we find it natural to compare ourselves not only to others but ultimately to ourselves. And maybe there were periods within my life where I felt that I was doing better or I was just serving a greater purpose. And in that way, I did tend to compare myself to my past self. But as I've grown past that, I've kind of realized that there's nothing really that you gain from not only comparison, but living in the past, because you can dwell on that as much as you want. You can sit in that, but that was then and this is now. And
Yes,
ultimately,
that's the right mindset.
ultimately, I think the most beneficial thing that everyone can do for themselves is live in the now. And sure, you can like get inspiration from maybe ways that you were better in the past or whatnot, but whenever you when you live too much in the past, it's very easy to get caught up in that. And I think to be present is just the best thing that you can do for yourself, just like as someone who's experienced that firsthand. But yeah, I definitely recommend, if you're someone that like tends to dwell or kind of either ruminate on the past or what your future self could potentially be, I think focusing on what you are right now and the steps, no matter how big or small, that you can take to, I guess, get to whatever point you like to be at or whatever you desire, and just taking those very tiny steps now, because everything counts in the now.
Wow.
I think that's the best thing that you can do for yourself.
Thank you, Reese. Thank you. That's amazing.
Tremendous value. Tremendous value. How about yourself? Do you plan to live do you live more in your past, your present, or your future?
I try my best to live in the present. I will say that I accept my past and that I am blessed because of it, because it has made me the person I am today, and I'm very proud of who I am today.
Yeah.
And I also am super excited for the future and what it's going to bring me. So I would be lying if I said in the present I didn't think about the past or think about the future.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever I do so, I've gotten to the point where I think of it positively, because it's made me who I am today. And the future is going to make me who I am one day. And so all I can do is just live day by day. And, you know, being best friends with somebody for so long, like I have been with her, has proved that to me, because she's in my past, she's in my present, and she definitely will be in my future. And I think that if you truly value something, that it will show itself to you. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to worry about it. Trust me, I worry about it a lot. But at the end of the day, whenever I go to sleep, when I wake up in the morning, I'm worried about, thinking about, and excited for today.
Yeah. I love that.
Thank you.
How long have y'all been best friends?
Birth? We're 21, so 21 years basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that for you guys.
And y'all said y'all were from a small town. Do y'all mean Lubbock or?
It's about an hour and a half away from here. It's like 45 minutes out from Midland. It's tiny. It's called Big Spring, but
Okay.
oil-filled town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Midland.
If you know, you know. All right, guys. Also, if y'all want to cut me off, if y'all want to enjoy your rest house night, y'all can tell me to kick rocks. All right. If tonight was your last night alive, what would you regret not doing?
That's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question.
I really don't think I would regret anything. Like, honestly, genuinely, I don't think I'd regret anything.
Oh,
Like,
what would you regret not doing?
not doing?
Yeah. Bucket list or like, who knows?
I mean, I want to have kids. I would regret not having kids.
Okay.
I really don't regret not doing. I feel like I've been so blessed to do what I have done already, and I don't have anything in my life or anybody in my life that doesn't know exactly how I feel about them. So I wouldn't regret not doing anything. I want to be a wife and a mother, though. So
I love that.
that would make me sad.
No, I love
that.
that.
Would be it for me. Yeah.
Real quick, I want to speak on that. I can tell that Libby here is a very feminine woman, and I feel like there's not enough of that nowadays. I believe that women tend to want to be the boss bees, right? They want to just get their degree, get their career, get going. They don't have time for kids, right? But it's in y'all's biological nature to have kids, to be a nurturer, to be caring. So I love that you're sticking to that.
I do agree that I'm a very nurturing person, but I do love a boss woman. I'm not gonna lie. I love a girl that is all about herself and is all about. She's not worried about. Because I do worry about that stuff, like being a wife and having kids one day. You know what I mean? But I think every single girl has different, and every single guy. Everybody has different wants and hopes. Some girls want to be that breadwinner and go get that bread girl. Some guys want to be the breadwinner. Some guys are fine being a stay-at-home dad and having their wife, like, go strut her stuff. Like, I think it's different for everybody, but I will say I definitely want a mini-me one day. So that's just something for me.
And I'm not saying it's wrong, but it just goes back to our roots, right? Biologically, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The nuclear family, when times were simpler. But, okay, Reese, if tonight was your last night alive, what would you regret not doing?
I feel like I've been very privileged in the way that a lot of the things that I've kind of desired in this lifetime, I have gone after and ultimately just like have been able to experience. Which is like, simply said, probably just traveling more. Like that's definitely one of my lifelong goals.
I love traveling.
Yeah, it's just to see as much of the world that I can, and I've seen a sliver of it, but I think if you're young and if you have the means, or at least the drive, that you should go after those things. And like, if you want to fucking travel the world, find a way to make that happen for yourself.
And we have been doing that.
Yeah, and I think that applies to more than just traveling. And even if it's difficult, even if you got to fight tooth and nail to make that happen for yourself, I think it's worth it in the end. But yeah, probably that, and just being a mom, I think would be nice. But yeah.
To their friends.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, no, I love it. So, being a mother and traveling, amazing. Okay. Do you guys believe that you're contributing to society? And if so, how?
I struggle with that a lot, but I do think I am, because there's a mutual consideration between me and the people that are in my life, and I do believe that I am contributing to them as they are to me. And there's only so many people you can get so close to and contribute to. And the fact that I've been blessed to not just have people in my life, but have people in my life that I'm able to get so close to where I can contribute to them, and they allow me into their life and allow me to get to know them so I can see their needs and provide that for them. I feel like I'm contributing. Is there more I could do? Yes, but I think everybody could hypothetically do more.
Of course.
But to withhold my happiness and withhold continuing contributing to myself, I do believe that I am contributing to the extent that I can. Yeah.
Okay. I love that. So kind of like striving to be your best self each and every day.
My best self, while also pushing the people around me to be their best as well. For sure.
Iron sharpens iron.
What was it?
Iron sharpens iron. Yeah. What about you, Reese? Would you like me to ask you the question? Do you believe you're contributing to society? If so, how?
I think yes. I think contributing to society. I feel like a lot of people kind of view that as doing some grandiose like thing, and I mean personally, I definitely make it a point in my life to move with kindness and with a kind of open-mindedness that just really allows me to again like attract the right people to my life. Not only that, but to extend kindness to strangers and just to anyone that needs it, even if I don't know, like if I don't have a clue what's going on in their life. I think that in a lot of ways I mean, not to sound corny, but our society has become jaded to that in a lot of ways. I mean, especially with the rise of the internet and how easy it is to just comment some bullshit on like someone's post, whether it's like TikTok or whatever. It's very easy to be just rude. But I think that kindness takes more strength. And I think that to extend that kindness in however way it may be, I think that is such a great contribution to society and to your community in however way that may be. But yeah, basically, long story short, I think that just genuine kindness that comes from you, comes from the heart, comes from the soul. I think that is great of a contribution that you can make. And yeah,
She does.
It takes strength to embrace the light, and it's the weak embrace the dark. Ultimately, it's easier to be evil, bad, whatever. It takes strength to be kind. It takes strength to have patience, to be understanding.
It's very easy to be nonchalant now, and me and her are both very chalant people. We make sure that everyone is heard, and we make sure that we're heard. And
I love
think
that.
that's why the people around us and our friendship and our friendships with other people, our relationships are so strong and have so much depth to them. It's because we just make sure everyone is heard and make sure everybody is considered. And I do believe that. I know that she contributes. She's my lifeline.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's crazy you say that because that's exactly why I started this. This is called the After Hours episodes for my podcast. And I pretty much go to the bars and clubs, to the streets in the after hours, right, on the weekends when everyone goes out. And I want to be that person to shine a light into some people and to help awaken them to more value and to make sure that they're heard and seen.
That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Yes.
Yeah.
We were having these exact conversations before y'all came up to us. So
it's glad to
we
like have
literally
someone
were,
else.
we were just saying this stuff. So we're glad to share it. So yeah.
Look how everything's aligning. I love it. Awesome. Okay, just a couple more. I don't want to take y'all's whole night.
You're good.
So, what does being a woman mean to you?
Good question.
I think being a woman to me, from my mother, which I'm so thankful to have, it means having strength throughout the ups and downs and showing up for the people that are in my life, especially family. And I consider a lot of my friends family, of course, and there's also a lot of hard parts, of course. Being a woman, you have to consider a lot of things that men don't. You have to play a lot of parts. You don't have to, but you feel the need to, and you have to overcome that. And some of them are impossible to overcome, or they feel impossible. But at the end of the day, being a woman, I mean, every time I see a woman, I just look at them, and regardless of whatever situation it is, I see strength. I just see beauty too, with like inside and out. I think that every single woman radiates certain. I just love.
That's amazing.
I love girls. I'm a girl's girl.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that every single woman, they just deserve so much.
Let it all
They
out,
deserve
baby.
so much. They do.
Yeah, they do.
They do. Like so much strength, so much power, so much love to give, and I Going back to my mom again, she is the most nurturing, kind, fun human. I don't know how she does it, but she does.
Yeah.
And I just look up to her in that way, and my grandmas as well, and just how they have shown me how to be a woman. There's no correct way to do so, but I just see strength, I see resilience, I see beauty inside and out. And it's not black and white at all. It's very much so in the gray. Everybody's different. And I think that's part of the beauty of it.
I love that.
Shout out to the moms out there.
I love my mom.
All right, Reese, what does being a woman mean to you?
Okay. I think kind of taking away from what you said in terms like what your mom taught you. I think being a woman comes instinctually like feeling the need to take care of others. And I think that is it's a heavy weight to carry. And for that reason, I just admire women in the way that quietly but also loudly carry that burden in the way that they are just so strong in that way. And I don't know. I think being a girl is so fucking cool, and I mean, maybe men relate, maybe they don't, but I feel a sisterhood with women, even if it's just like a stranger I come across at the bar. Like, we definitely look out for each other because it just kind of comes instinctually, and I think that's such a special thing and something that I cherish so much.
Of course.
I mean, again, even if it's just a stranger in the bar bathroom, you know, like those are some of my favorite moments as a girl. But yeah, I think women put up with a lot of shit as men do as well. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said.
Yeah,
You know?
strong, nurturing,
Cool as fuck.
cool as fuck. Love being a girl. I love girls. Every single one of them, whether I know them or not, I feel for them, and there's a sisterhood, just like she said, and it's an instinct to just every single girl I see, just see beyond the surface,
Of course.
for sure.
I think that's beautiful because as a man, I've seen the negative side of what you guys are saying. I never knew there was a sisterhood or a girl's girl. I see women coming for each other's throats, competition. And I don't want to speak for all the men, but I feel like most men see that instead of the girls stuff. And I'm happy to bring that more awareness to more men out there that, you know, not all women are cutthroat.
No, I agree.
No, yeah. I think that it also comes down to vulnerability. A girl to girl, we're much more likely to be vulnerable, but whenever it's a girl in front of a guy, you have to break down that barrier just because it's a girl and a guy, it's not a girl and a girl. You know what I mean? So same with men. We don't see a side of y'all that y'all don't see of us. And I think it goes both ways. And it is fun though. I do love talking to my guy friends and asking them about how they act with their boys because it is so interesting. It really is. There's a wall there that,
Classified information.
yeah.
Not
yeah.
play.
No, it is. It is. Yeah.
Okay, ladies, I have one more question.
Alrighty.
What does an ideal man look like for you?
Okay, I can say it. I doesn't just hear me but listens to me, is patient, understanding, puts effort in, and not just in the simple ways, but in ways that have more depth to them. You know, not just in the flowers and does this, takes me on date situation, but genuinely puts an effort in with me, getting to know me, every single part of me, and also puts in an effort to get to know my friends and create a friendship with them and my parents. I'm a big family person.
Of course.
And there's so much depth to that. I think
No, yeah, 100%.
a man, there's so many things. It's just somebody that, at the end of the day, it really is just somebody that is understanding and gets me, and we feed off of each other in a positive way. We can be authentic around each other. We don't feel the need to be perfect. We feel the need to care for each other, but also be real with each other. You know, if I can both be putting 100 every single day that we can. But if I can only put in 50, then you put in 150, and
Yeah.
it goes vice versa. I would never expect something out of somebody that I know I couldn't give myself. But at the same time, I will give as much and as much as I can. And whenever I receive that back in return, it feels nice. And you just know. I think when you know, you know. It's not
When you
black,
know, you know.
It's not black and white. When you know, you know. And whenever you meet the person, you just feel it, and you don't feel translucent to them. You feel seen. Like, you don't feel like they're just looking through you or they're just looking at the surface of you. But whenever they see you,
Your
they
soul.
see your soul. It's your soulmate. I do
Yeah.
believe in soulmates.
I
I'm a
do
firm
too.
believer in that. I think that, yeah, just being seen and not just being looked at and judged, but understood and catered to. And it goes both ways too, though. Like, I'm gonna
course.
do that for him if he does that for me, and it's just, I think it's a beautiful thing.
100%.
It can be tough out here, but it really is worth it whenever you
Yeah.
find somebody that you have a connection with and also have a friendship with, along with a romantic relationship with. That also heavily matters to me.
Yes.
Being best friends with somebody first and acting like you act around your boyfriend how you would act around your best friend. Like, you should be able to do that. You should be able to
Be 100%
be
yourself.
100% myself and them as well, and not hide anything and not feel the need to. And if don't judge each other, communication, of course,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
number one.
Communication is key.
Gotta talk. You gotta talk. You gotta communicate. Tell each other everything. Tell each other how you're feeling. Tell each other what you're up to. You know, like, wake up and you're on the wrong side of the bed. Just say it. You know, don't be afraid to not be perfect.
Yeah,
That's big.
for real.
You?
Thank you, Olivia.
Of course.
All right, Reese.
What does an ideal man look like for you?
I feel like her and I are very similar in the way that, like, we view relationships with men and, like, what we're looking for. So I'm gonna try not to regurgitate exactly what she said.
Okay.
But I feel like ultimately vulnerability. I think that I mean, I think we've made progress, but I feel like men tend to be afraid to be vulnerable, when vulnerability, in my opinion, is like the most attractive trait that a man can have. Just that willingness to be open despite, like, I guess, what society views as, like, demasculating. When I think that if you are able to own your emotions and stand true in your emotions, I think that is, like, the most masculine thing that a man can do.
Say that one more time for the people in the back.
I think that being able to own your emotions and just stand true in them is the most masculating thing that a man can do. But other than that, I just think that openness and open-mindedness, I think a lot of the times people tend to see relationships from a black and white perspective when it is so much more than that. And just a willingness to embrace, like, every part of each other, whether it's just, like, the flaws, and being able to understand those things, and being able to be yourself around each other in your, like, rawest and most vulnerable form, and kind of like how you would in a friendship. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times in a friendship, you're not worried about looking a certain way, or I don't know, like, impressing them. And while I mean, those things they can be fun and they can be exciting sometimes. Ultimately, just being able to be yourself around each other and embrace the parts of each other that are potentially flaws, or other people would see as flaws. But yeah, I agree with what you said. But I think ultimately vulnerability and just being able to be the most authentic, rawest form of yourself around each other.
I love that, and I know that was the last question, but I would love your women's opinion on this specific post that I posted recently. I would love for you guys to read what it says, and I would just want to know if you guys agree with it or not.